Hi everybody, Rad Mom here. Welcome back to the garden. It's been forever since we've been out here and since I have uploaded anything, and I apologize for that. It's been quite a time, suffice to say. But welcome back. Today we got something kind of different going on. We're still going to be doing some response videos because I just saw something yesterday that demanded my attention. So you'll be seeing that real soon. But today, we're starting a new series on the channel based on my blog. First though, like the video if you enjoy my content, and subscribe to the channel to let the algorithm know that. And let's jump into this week's video because this is something near and dear to me. Kids are running around. But this is something near and dear to me. I've had the blog since 2014. God, that's 8 years ago. This September, I think. And I started it because the same reason I started this channel here, because there didn't seem to be much representation out there in the world for people like me. So that's what I try to do, and I try to give a spin on things that no one else is. Like if I look out there and I see that everyone is saying the same thing, then I don't bother. And this last blog post was a doozy. It was the culmination of something I've been trying to say for a long time. And it was inspired by an article by a lady named Van Badham, who writes for The Guardian in Australia. Sometimes, you never know when inspiration is going to strike, right? So this is the lie that's killing feminism. Internalized misogyny runs deep. Even insightful women may find themselves suspicious of women-led movements. Van Badham writes for Guardian Australia. In addition to the coolest name in journalism, this week she has some sharp words about the current state of the battle of the sexes. She trumpets the results of a new study from the University of Bath. Married mothers who earn more than their husbands take on an even greater share of the housework. A study from the University of Bath in the UK has found the more they earned over their partner, the more housework they did. Women who earn more than men do more household labor, it concludes, because the situation implies a gender norm variation for which women feel obliged to compensate. She's playing his role. And centuries of debasement mean he can't bring himself to adopt hers. But the laundry ain't gonna do itself. Why obliged? The study says conceptions of masculinity are near inextricable from the ancient male breadwinner role. Oh, come now. Can we really expect men to adjust? Those creatures who forged civilization and colonized the planet by the stars. Can we really expect them to behave intelligently? Sarcasm aside, though, Van makes a very important point. I'll say what the study can't. Women learn as girls that there is no greater danger than a man who perceives his masculinity as threatened by them. Here she pokes the doughy center of every heterosexual relationship. A man's greatest fear is a woman laughing at him, while a woman's greatest fear is that a man will kill her. When your potential partners are also your biggest potential threat, not all the tension is sexual. You don't need to shoot a gun to know it's best to treat them all as if they're loaded. But rather than dig into this power imbalance and why it lingers despite economic changes, Van blurs micro and macro to basically blame society. Straight domestic relationships are where the deeply ingrained gender stereotypes go like vampires to feed on women's blood and maintain eternal life. Why are these gender stereotypes so ingrained? Could it have anything to do with the inevitable interactions of mechanistic material dynamics? Making six figures won't make you stronger than him. The sweetest man in the world cannot gestate your child for you. If we're talking about the mundane frustrations of family life, we must acknowledge the whole gritty picture Otherwise, we're just feeling sorry for ourselves. Alas, Van's deep digs at liberal feminism belie her ignorance of anything happening outside of it. A mutant alliance of conservative radicals and biologically determinist feminist separatists. Well, you sure got my number there, Van. My husband will be very interested to know that I'm not speaking to him anymore. Right after you finish explaining what biological determinist actually means. Are out to insist that the greatest threat to women is not the intimate partner violence of fact, but the swim champ trans women of fiction. I mean, there is no such thing as trans women, but that's not what she means, of course. A link takes us to a denial of Leah Thomas's physical advantages. Here we have an explicit demonstration of the limits of lib-fem analysis, okay? Van can't address the physical material factors that shape women's domestic lives because she'd have to admit that we are different from men after all. Liberal feminism long ago gave away the different but equal card in exchange for entrance to the cool boys club. To highlight the distinction of femaleness is to admit that we don't belong. And while chiding lib-fems, Van is still singing the same song, an avalanche of actively anti-trans legislation in the United States, which pause for the obligatory reminder that outlawing the mutilation of healthy children is pro-children, not anti-trans, okay, is not an over-there problem when its scare campaign talking points, always directed at women, are echoed both by Australia's Conservative MPs and the ambitious boys of its Liberal Greens. Which, leaving aside Aussie politics, it's pretty rich to complain about scare campaign talking points right after regurgitating one. Because I'm a right-wing extremist. Right, y'all? Perhaps these campaigns are aimed at women because there's a movement afoot, Van. And there's always room for a smart woman like you. Dare I suggest that this aggressive scapegoating of transgender women by an invested patriarchal hierarchy is a cunning misdirection. Given that more money and power, or the lucky few, has still not provided women with gender equality in the home. That's a good question. Observations this astute tend to get a person labeled a conspiracy theorist. But who put the trans women there, Van? After so many feminist gains, why are we defending the very definition of the word woman in public discourse and law? Woman is a problematized term not because of any transgender activism. Really? Because inclusive language is kind of their thing. It's because the modern expectations of what it means to be a woman are so demanding, contradictory, and structurally unsatisfying that they are impossible for everyone. I mean, true. That's why the gays are left undefended. We've gotten so busy pushing ourselves and hating ourselves and dumping our negativity onto other women that we've forgotten what it's all for. And Van points this out. It's really nice to see someone bringing this up. She describes how we're immersed in a culturally mainstreamed go-girl liberal feminism that has massaged girls can do anything into girls should do everything all the time. You must have #no limits, especially when it comes to sexual experimentation, and yet confidently enforce boundaries. Dump the motherfucker already. But have a couple goals. Yep, those double standards are a bitch, alright. But when even adult human females struggle to be women, the temptation for fellows to show us girls how it's done must be overwhelming. Van tears into liberal feminist messaging with a vengeance that feels personal. The most important job in the world is still being a mother, still be an active parent, but not a helicopter parent. You should pursue your own dreams, but think outside the box. Achieve a work-life balance, but also lean in. Ask for that raise. #believe achieve and smash the glass ceiling with your perfect face. A line truly worthy of a cathartic spit take. It's the old paradox that insists the apex of womanhood is to be simultaneously virgin, mother, and whore. Except now, do this backwards in high heels, making 6 figures on a keto diet at yoga while vacuuming, and everything's live on Instagram. Just reading that leaves me breathless, and she didn't even mention the kids. The relentless spinning of the modern woman, our perpetual multitasking keeps us drained and preoccupied, which suits those who benefit from our current system just fine. Culture is not encouraging this because it reflects any aspiration of the modern woman to be exhausted, strung out, and burdened by feelings of performance failure. It's because the patriarchy has realized liberal feminism's potential to leave women so individually overburdened, stressed, and anxious that they don't revolt against the vampiric masculinities in their lives. That's so frustrating, with her right up till the end there. That, and we all have a vampire we know and love, right? Tearing down the patriarchy cannot begin with tearing down our homes. Working with men to end patriarchy may seem like a paradox, but I'm starting to think it's the only way. No one said marriage was easy. Straight women are down in the trenches on the front lines of the battle of the sexes with no clear strategy and no reinforcements. If we coordinate, we can push for the basic equality we all want. Freedom from fear. Van is good at identifying problems. Resisting the urge to put the onus on individuals, she waves instead towards the nebulous evil of patriarchy. Because patriarchy makes women more detail-oriented and gives men a narrow pelvis. They never quite think it through, do they? Because to do that would be to admit defeat in liberal feminism's most precious skirmish. That men and women are exactly the same, aside from obvious external differences. That femaleness is so insignificant. It has no material impact on us whatsoever. This is the blatant lie that's killing feminism. Adhering to this lie makes any real analysis of our lives impossible. It blinds us to our situation. It keeps us from seeing our shared problems. Giving in to this unearned ancient shame keeps us isolated and trapped in a man's world. Sure, a lot of the crap between women and men is cultural static. But a lot of that static emanates from hard realities of material existence that no amount of leaning in will change. Tuning out that static is important, but those of us on the front lines have a duty to trace it to its source and stop allowing ourselves to be distracted from what our instincts are telling us. This vital discussion can't be had while smart women like Van Batum are still willfully ignoring the obvious. Collective amnesia will continue to ensure that life's traps ensnare all of us, one by one. Unless we can forgive ourselves for being female, feminism is doomed. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the lie that's killing feminism. That men and women are exactly the same. Because we're not. And, because if we were, we wouldn't need to advocate for special rights and needs for ourselves, would we? That really just makes feminism completely pointless, doesn't it? I can't believe that anybody, that we ever allowed that to be any kind of a central point. And we cannot allow that to continue. No. Not only are we not exactly like them, we need to figure out exactly what that means. And we've wasted so much time pretending to be exactly like men and thrown out so much along the way. But I'm not here to make anybody angry. That was just the first of a series of several blog posts that I'm going to be reading for y'all, acting out a little bit, if you will. Excuse me. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And so, stick around for the channel because I'm not giving up. I'm not going away. I swear I'm in for the long haul. I love this community so much. Thank you so much for watching. And I guess I'll see you next time.